Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to take a look at mastering on the MPC Standalone. So I got the MPC Key 37. You could do it on any MPC unit using just one effect plugin. So let's check it out. Alright, so the song you heard in the intro was my latest project that I'm working on called Sweet Love. It's almost done. I have a little bit more arranging and mixing to do, and then of course the mastering. And somebody had asked in the comments in one of the videos I had done about how I do the mastering on the MPC, because I had mentioned in one of my videos that my last two songs that are currently on Spotify, so Global Love and There For You, I did everything from A to Z on the MPC Key 37. So the vocals, all the instruments, the mixing, the mastering, all the effects, everything was done on the MPC, and it's the songs are on Spotify. They're sounding great. So you can do it all on the standalone. So although the song is not complete yet, I'm gonna just jump ahead and show you how I master. So it's pretty straightforward actually. There's many ways you can perform mastering. I'm by no means an expert. There are dedicated specialized mastering engineers that do this for a living. But basically the master is you want to bring cohesiveness to the song, as well as to multiple songs across a project. You want to have a cohesiveness in the mix, whether it be, the ambiance, the reverb, the EQ, whatever it is. Mastering also, it takes a look at things like maximizing loudness, or getting rid of noise, maximizing weak signals, getting rid of low end mud, as they say, just clarifying things, making it sound the best it could sound. There are many ways to do it, some of which I know, some of which a lot of which I don't know, but I'm going to show you what I do know. One of the main things that a lot of people use on their master output is a limiter. Okay, that's a plugin you could put in. A limiter is you can look it up to get the exact definition, but it's a specialized compressor, and it allows you to set a ceiling above which it will start clipping any peaks that pass that maximal decibel ceiling, so that you don't get distortion. But what you do get is you get peaks that are clipped anything above that ceiling that you set. So if it gets too loud, you start to get clipping, and you start to lose resolution in your music. And so you bring the gain down a little bit, so now the maximal peaks of your sound are just at that threshold. Okay, that's the best I can explain it. But why don't we take a look at what the limiter looks like on the MPC plugin and what it sounds like. Alright, so if we look at the main page here, I'm actually so this is the main page. I am the arranger view, and I have my loop activated, and I'm just looping this the main hook of the song, which we heard in the intro. So I'll just keep it in the background here. And to go to the master output effects channel, so what we do is we go ahead and press the mix button, and then these are all my channels starting at channel 1 or track 1, and we want to go past those tracks. I'm sure you know that when you go past the main tracks, you get into the submixes, where you can create submixes. Submixes is where you're grouping tracks and sending those group tracks to another channel, where you can now control the level or the effects of that group of tracks. All right. I should do a tutorial on that another time. So if we pass those submixes, we come to the effects returns, and then we come to the master output, which is right here. So you see number one output, channel 1 and 2, and right now I'm on the volume. So that master output is just like any other channel. It has a volume. You could pan it, you can mute it, etc. And you could put effects on it. The effects that I have currently is the channel strip and the limiter. Okay, so I lied. I have two plugins that I'm using for mastering. The first one is the channel strip. You may have noticed this for any channel that you have, and if you go to their effects inputs, if you press and hold the plus sign, it's automatically going to load this channel strip. And a channel strip is basically a grouping of plugins that are usually used together for mixing and mastering. In this case, this air channel strip contains an EQ, very basic EQ, and it also has a gate, which I believe is a noise gate. It has a compressor as well. Okay, so again, EQ, gate, and compressor. The nice thing is that if you go to the presets, you have different groupings of presets for instruments, vocals, bass, but you have one for mastering, which is great. So you could select that, and then you can select or just try out these different master settings for the channel strip. For example, you have first aid, so if your mix is really bad, it needs some first aid. I usually use the cleanup, and then I play around with it and then save it as my own preset. But let's go back out. Again, the air channel strip allows you to give, you might already have EQ on your individual channels. You might have compressor on your individual channels. The idea of having this on the master output is that now everything is under this main umbrella. You can just give it little tweaks. It brings this cohesiveness to your project. All right, I know that's not a very kind of concrete, tangible statement, but that's kind of what it does. Now let's go out of that and let's go to the limiter, which is the main plugin we want to talk about. So the limiter, let's select that. It has just a few settings. It has the gain, which, if I'm not mistaken, controls the amount of input gain that you want to increase it by. Then you have the ceiling, which is that maximum threshold. So it won't let it get louder than, here I have it set at 0 dBs, so it won't let it get louder than 0 dBs. Anything that passes that threshold will get clipped. You have the look ahead, which I believe uses extra processing power, and the computer kind of looks ahead before we actually hear the audio to see if there's any peaks coming, so it is able to clip those peaks in time. And then you have the release, which is how quickly the effect bounces back to normal. Okay. The other thing that you have that's really interesting is this low frequency mono. What this does is it takes all the low frequencies that may be in your stereo landscape, and it brings that into a mono channel. And the reason you don't want to have the low frequencies, so you don't need low frequency, the boomy sounds taking up all that space in your stereo channel. It takes up a lot of real estate. It sounds muddy. It takes away, space from other sounds. So that control brings it into a mono sound, into a mono location. So it goes from stereo to mono, and the sound is really cleaned up. So I hadn't been using that. I just saw that the other day on the limiter, and I tried it out, and it makes a huge difference. All right, and probably that's like probably a mixing mastering 101 that engineers already know. But hey, we learn every day, right? So let's take a listen to the mix with and without the limiter and see what it sounds like. Okay. So I'm going to play that loop that I had. Also, I wanted to mention that if you look at the presets here, it also has a bunch of presets that you can try out. I like using the Titan preset. The settings are closest to what works for my mix. I have my gain at 3.4, and you could see it's already it's like the input is pretty loud to begin with. Okay, so I don't need to boost it anymore. I do have the ceiling at 0 decibels. Some people like to keep it at minus 0.1, minus 0.2. I just have it at 0, and it really works well. It doesn't let anything get past 0. And then the look ahead is 0.5. The release is 316 milliseconds. Here the reduction of sound, it's not. We don't really see anything because again, I'm letting it go to 0. But if I were to bring this down, and then increase the decibels, increase the gain. So you see the input here is like really loud. It's maximized, but then it's reducing. The limiter is reducing every time it goes past the threshold. I set the threshold at minus 15 dB. All right. I just did that to illustrate the release time. So the release time is the time it takes for this the reduction effect to bounce back to its normal state. Okay, so the longer you set that release, so it's at 316 now, it's going to take longer for it to go back to a non-reduced state. Okay, so you can see it's much slower than before. So let me bring that back to 316 milliseconds, and right there. We'll bring this up to 0. That's my ceiling. And right now I wouldn't keep it like this because the input, it's unfortunate that there's not a visual graphic for this, but basically the input is really loud, and it's probably peaking, and the limiter is clipping all of those peaks. So I'm going to bring the gain back to something more reasonable, like it was at 3.4. So here it's not passing that threshold too much, so I'm not going to be losing resolution from clipping of the peaks. All right, so let's turn up the volume and listen to it with and without. Okay, this is with limiter, without the limiter. Let's do it again. No limiter, with limiter. No limiter, with limiter. Okay. So it's a very subtle difference, but it brings it up a few dBs. It's actually this gain is the amount by which we're bringing up the input. So I'm gaining 3.4 dBs of extra volume without going past that 0 dB threshold. So that's what's cool. So it brings up all of the lower peaks as well, brings those up, but it also brings everything else up as well. So you got to be careful with that gain. Let's take a look at this low frequency mono. So this low frequency mono button or dial, again, what I said earlier is that it takes all of the low frequencies in the stereo landscape, and it takes them out of the stereo, puts them into mono. So it's like right in front of your visual, like if you visualize it, it's right in front of your head. What this does is it cleans everything up. It leaves a lot of room for a lot of other frequencies to resonate. Okay, and let's take a look. If I take this out completely, okay, I'll start playing again. Let's turn it down, turn it off. So everything is wider. You should put out your headphones on for this. Everything is wider, but it's more muddy. Now let's bring it up. Much cleaner. Let's do it again when the vocals come on. Okay, I'm going to turn it down. Bass is much boomier, kind of muddy. Let's bring it back up. Bass is cleaner. Alright, so that's basically the limiter. And you can put other effects on the master output as well. You could put another compressor on there. You could put a little bit of reverb if you want. Just to, again, some people do that, even though you might have reverb on other tracks. You could put an overall reverb and just put a touch of reverb, just a little bit of mix. Put it a little bit into the mix, and it kind of gives this cohesiveness to your mix. And that's, again, what mastering is all about. All right, it's to make all of the tracks sound like they belong together. Once again, I have the channel strip on there, which provides a little bit of EQ, a gate, and a compressor. Use the presets that are there, and then play with them. Turn them on and off, and see what it sounds like. And then you have the limiter. And we talked about how that works. Try it out with your mix, see how it sounds, and let me know in the comments if that's what you do, or if you use another plugin. All right. Hope that helped. Take it easy. Bye.